guest at Pressure Points with your two favorite hosts in the business. I'm D, and this is my beautiful angel, AJ. We're coming at you with Season 4, Episode 16, Antisemetism Square Dancing. So strap on those cowboy boots and get ready. Find us on Instagram and Twitter at PointsOPressure.
Damn, you actually got through the entire intro in time.
Yeah, good thing you played just a minuscule second of the fucking Soviet theme song. Good
yeah,
job.
I was hoping you wouldn't notice.
Sneak that in there when you can. Of course I'd notice.
As much as I can. All the time. Oh, man.
Oh, welcome back.
Well, thank you. How's your week been? It's been a whole week.
You know, it's been a whole week, and I'm going to be honest, life has been, fairly boring since the end of January.
Thank
but
Christ.
it is a relief. Unfortunately, things are getting bad again, but
nah, things are fine.
Yeah, in somebody's book. But yeah, it's a new week, so hopefully we can make it a full week without some bullshit again.
Oh, I'm sure we won't. So
I'd be surprised within 24 hours if we made it. But
yeah,
alas, here we are.
Some good news, at least in my life. I'm sure you all care about that. I got my second shot this morning.
Nice.
So far, I'm doing great. I'm really sore, but that's because I went to the gym.
Well, it's also because of the second dose has the microchip, so
yeah. No, the first one has
you're
the chip.
sore
The second
from
one
it.
has the battery.
Oh, the second has a battery, so it's the battery moving through your system. Way more painful.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I, got some fun stuff. Went to the store this morning, bought a bunch of different little bits for a charcuterie board that I'm gonna make.
Ooh.
We're gonna assemble it and take it out to the desert. Me and D.
Yeah,
and
it's
I
going to
guess
be
our
a very significant
others.
And our tag-alongs.
Yeah,
that's what we call them.
Fucking third and fourth wheelers. God,
we're a motorcycle, and they're just there for the spare.
Yeah, they're the sidecar.
Yeah. It's been an alright week. I get my second dose this coming Tuesday, tomorrow.
Sweet. Pfizer or Moderna?
So, Pfizer.
Ah, good.
Of course.
I'm glad you're in the Pfizer gang.
Only
the
hotties
gang.
get Pfizer. Yeah, Moderna.
Yeah.
Moderna is for
normies,
ugly bitches. Johnson & Johnson is for them pores.
And the
Pfizer's for the rest.
AstraZeneca's for the big titty goth GFs, though. They're trying to kill them off.
Oh God.
This last week I started reading again. I haven't read, not just for school, in a long time.
Just recreational reading.
Yeah, guess what got me into it?
What?
Noam Chomsky.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I just started reading. I found one of his books, and I'm like, I'll just give this a shot. I hear he's a pretty smart dude.
Yeah.
And the entire first section was on U.S. foreign policy, which sounds so boring. But hear me out. It's how post-World War II, the United States set up to make it so that their foreign policy always brought U.S. corporations and the ultra-rich into consideration first. So any countries that would try to, create a democratic, system of government and elect people and start to improve their lives, the U.S. would go in and the CIA would go in and fuck it all up, because as soon as a country is now focusing on making the lives of their citizens better rather than foreign interests, rather than investors,
the lives of rich investors better. Interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And it points out a lot of using declassified information and declassified forms and primary sources. It outlines we supported this dude during the 70s for 10 years and said he was great, and then all of a sudden, as soon as he kind of turned against us, now he's a bad drug dealer, drug trafficker. but we knew about that for the last 20 years. That kind of...
How terribly convenient.
Yeah, the huge level of hypocrisy in that, and it's really interesting.
I am excited to hear more about it, because I know you're going to talk my ear off about it tomorrow on our drive.
Well,
and I'm excited. It'll be good.
Thing.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, just last week, Nordic Thunder sent a message and said, hey, check into this dude. And I'm going to talk about this dude a lot more in a future episode, I'm sure. But it was so weird, because, like, the day after I got the message, that dude was in this book. Basically, he sent me a Nazi.
Really?
An awful guy. He was in charge of, like, from the very minimal look that I've had into him so far, he was, like, put in charge of the Nazi-controlled area of France.
Uh-huh.
And, all that stuff. So basically, after the war, the United States used him to install Third Reich-like governments in Latin America and South America, I believe, and just
Jesus.
to keep them under that control.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it was just a weird synchronicity that
he
told me about it. I found him in the book, and it was just like it just clicked, papped. All right, but now for the real reason everybody's here.
Yeah.
D.
What's up?
Did you have to learn how to square dance in school?
I did in 6th grade. So for those of you who are not American fucking scum, that is the age 12 to 13.
All right. Well, my wife, I asked her earlier, and she said, yeah, she had to learn it. It was square dance and swing dance. I asked...
Yep, square and swing.
Yep, I asked my parents, and they said, yeah, they had to do it. They had to learn, like, a whole set and put on a little, like, play thing. Or a show, I guess. Weird enough. My grandparents learned square dancing in school. So apparently that's a thing.
So, before you get too far into it, my hypothesis behind it is the idea of preserving, and I'm doing this with major, major quotes, preserving the culture and history of America's, like old school music and shit. Like...
Yeah,
swing dancing
that comes into it.
And all that. I would say that's why they're teaching it to kids, to spark some kind of interest. But it's also just, it's fucking shitty it's square
weird.
Dancing.
Like, okay, during school growing up, we had to have the Pledge of Allegiance every morning, led by a student, not by the teacher. And it was weird and culty, and I know a lot of other people in different countries don't know that. And recently we've had an uptick in a couple other countries. Hello, everybody. We had to say the Pledge of Allegiance, pointing towards our flag with our hand over our heart every day in school, which is
every
really
morning.
Weird.
It stopped for me around, what was that, 9th grade, I think? So like when I was 15. It stopped, but that was only because we stopped having homeroom, which was the first thing you'd go to in the morning. It was like your first check-in of your prison sentence. The other was, or let's see, in high school, like we didn't really have it at all because we only had our one homeroom once per week, and so that's when we would do it.
No, ours
still hated it.
It would
though.
play it over like the second period announcement or something like that. Sometimes.
God.
So, it's weird. It's culty, the amount of square dancing. I never had to learn square dancing in school. I remember them like talking about it. Like there was part of it, and then like you could sign up to stay after school to learn it or something. I remember that being a thing, but I never did it. Fuck, I'm not going to stay in school longer than I have to.
Ours was a requirement for your core classes. So everybody had one semester of square dancing.
Yeah, that's how it is in most places, which is really fucking weird.
Yeah.
So, I went into it. I got to the bottom of why that is. So
Okay.
we're going to start off, we're going to take a step back. We're going to frame this into history, all right? We're going to talk about a recurring figure on this show just because he's so involved in so many awful things. And he's done a lot of
I wonder
awful
who it
things.
is.
It's not Adolf Hitler.
What? Oh,
I know.
I don't believe this.
Although I will say
don't
that the
believe
word
you.
Hitler is in the second paragraph that I have written
Oh,
here.
okay. All right.
So
Well,
don't worry.
in typical AJ fashion, we're staying on par.
And I've got my copy of Mein Kampf right here. No, I actually don't. I've never
Minecraft?
read that one.
You have your
Minecraft.
Minecraft copy?
Yeah. So, Henry Ford was a conservationist, not in terms of his business. Yeah, a little bit of he was an industrialist racist, I should say. He was a surprisingly progressive employer. He paid like $130 a day for our money, minimum, for a 5-day work week. He basically, because of his business practices, is why we have a 5-day work week instead of a 6-day work week. He kind of, brought that in and provided his employees with pretty good money. Like, his idea was, if you're just paying the minimum that you can get away with, you're going to have a high turnover rate, and you're not going to get, like, the best of the best. He figured, or the average for the day was, for 100, like, open positions, in 1 year, they would go through 300 people. He said, fuck that.
Damn.
Yeah. So he figured, I'm just going to pay more, and if somebody more qualified than you comes in, they'll potentially get your job, or will work with you and get you trained with them. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So he got a lot of people, like some of the best mechanics, the best engineers, and things like that for his company, which is really why it took off. And he had this, obviously Ford was a huge industry. Now, he was also a temperance advocate. We've talked about temperance quite a bit.
Oh, temperance.
Eat your soy flakes and don't masturbate, don't drink.
What episode was that? Was
God.
episode 3 last season, I think?
Have no idea.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, so we've talked about it, on and off quite a few times, just because it's such an interesting part of history.
Eat your boner-killing cornflakes,
yeah,
kids.
and, chew 25 times on each side, and you'll have a waist that smells no more than a baked biscuit.
Jesus.
Yeah, he insisted that a diet of soybeans, carrots, and wheat could grant good health, and that's the only thing that could get past disease.
If you want a good backstory on it, check out Season 3, Episode 5, Snack Time.
Snack Time, yep, that's it. Now, that was a lot of fun. I have an interest in this, mostly comes from my father, that in, like, old books and old, like, documents that are completely, 99% of the time they're completely falsified, but they, like, reveal this grand conspiracy and stuff like that, because they were so good. It's essentially I found this buried on your farm, let's start a religion on it kind of situation. So
Yeah.
One that Henry Ford loved was the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. Have you ever heard of that one?
I haven't.
All right. Fantastic. Look it up on Wikipedia. Get some quotes from
Right
it.
now?
Just on your own. Because it is totally interesting to look into. Basically all anti-Semitic like conspiracy theories that you hear from the alt-right nowadays pretty much stems from this book.
Say it one more time.
The Protocols
people
of
back.
the Elders of Zion.
Protocols of the Elders of
Zion. Yeah, the whole
Magic
thing, it
came
brings
up
out
first. My autocorrect said Protocols of the Elder of Magic.
Ooh. Now
I'm reading that one.
Yeah, read that one. It was completely fake. It was completely, it's not a real document. Well, it was a real document. It was falsified.
If you're going to read it on Wikipedia, luckily, it says Protocols of the Meetings of the Learned Elders of Zion is a fabricated anti-Semitic text.
Yeah.
So you're in the clear. You're in the clear so far. I'm fact-checking you as we go.
Oh, good. Oh, no. So it basically put this whole idea out there that the Jewish people are trying to create this new world order with this government that they're going to be in control of, and they're going to control everybody and use their Jewish tricks on everyone. And, so Henry Ford loved it.
When did that come out? When was that released?
Don't you have it on Wikipedia right there?
I closed the page.
Oh, my God.
I'm opening it again. I guess I'll
late
answer
1800s?
my question.
Early 1900s? 1907. I'm putting it down, 1907.
First published in Russia in 1903.
Fuck! I was close, though.
You were close. It was a solid guess.
All right, so it was Jewish globalist conspiracies.
Oh, I gotta stop reading. I gotta stop reading it. I just saw a spoiler.
Yeah, don't. So the he was, Henry Ford was also mentioned favorably in Mein Kampf twice. So that's pretty good. Hitler, at a later time after these events that we're going to be talking about today, stated that Ford was his inspiration in an interview.
What?
Yeah. Solid dude, like all around.
Whoa.
All around. Fantastic, rounded, level-headed guy.
Jesus.
Also one of the ultra-rich.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me that, well, makes sense.
Yeah, that's all you need to say. So, Henry Ford, he was running his car dealerships, doing his, he did do quite a bit of philanthropy and stuff like that, no problems with that. He also ran a magazine. I think he paid somebody else in his company to buy the magazine on his behalf. And basically,
what?
He would write some of the articles, other people would write some of the articles, and then it would go to him, he would review it, and then it would be published, and then they would just distribute it at his dealerships. So you go to the Ford dealership, and there'd be a little newsstand with some newspapers and his magazine. His magazine was called, one of his magazines, he had a couple. This one that we're going to be talking about was called The International Jew. So, I found some articles from this magazine. Thank Christ for the internet for digitizing stuff like this. Because this could easily, without the internet, be just swept under the rug and hidden.
Yeah.
So, I narrated it. Not narrated, I summarized it.
Oh, okay.
So, in The International Jew, he stated, jazz is a Jewish creation. The mush, the slush, the sly suggestion, the abandoned sensuousness of sliding notes are of Jewish origin.
The mush, the slush.
Yeah.
That just makes me want to dance.
I want to listen to jazz now. So I just love that jazz, Jewish creation, apparently.
Jesus.
And I'd like to point out that jazz actually comes from what I can find. Obviously, the history of music is super intricate, and music can develop in all sorts of crazy ways. But in general, it's regarded that jazz came from New Orleans, from African-American communities, based on blues and ragtime coming together. Makes sense.
As far as I understand it.
Yeah. So, obviously, we know, and he should have known, the Jews didn't make jazz. But he also believed in the protocols of the elders of Zion, so anything that fits his narrative, he'll believe in.
Although I would be interested to go to the alternate universe where jazz was created by the Jews, just to hear what it's like.
Yeah, it's like
I'm intrigued. Music. Yeah, the Who Man music.
So, Ford was pretty damn racist, as you may understand at this point. And he kind of took it upon himself. He wanted to destroy jazz because it was such a force for the moral decay and Jewish control.
Fucking racist.
Yeah, he figured, jazz was making people go out and smoke those reefer cigarettes and drink and have sex and, otherwise have fun. And he didn't like that.
Enjoy sexual experiences. Outrageous.
Not for procreation. Premarital.
So I'm curious, does any of this tie into what we talked about back in season 2 with the Nazis that were stateside, like the American Nazi Party?
A little bit. I didn't go into that, but I can go into that a little bit more.
No worries. I was just curious. I wasn't sure if, just because I saw the distribution of the protocols of the fucking Elders of Zion that it was distributed. And I was curious if that tied in at all to Henry Ford's involvement with the American Nazi Party. But I'm not saying that he was, though it's likely, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is likely that he was involved with that.
If you don't know, and I'm going to plug a second episode in this one, I don't feel bad about it, but if you don't know about the history of Nazis in America, and these aren't like spies that are in...
No, like the American Nazi Party.
These are American Nazis.
And we're not talking about like alt-right extremists.
Yeah.
Well, we are, but no, like straight up Nazis. Like they identified as Nazis.
Season 2, episode 6, The Fighting Jew of Newark. Check that shit out.
That was a fun one.
It's pretty wild.
It's the only one I read an entire book on.
So, Jews fucking around with the jazz music, huh?
Jews created jazz so that good white Anglo folk can go drink, smoke, and have sex, decay their morals, and that would allow the Jewish people to rise up and control the planet.
I can already see where this is going. I can you've got me pointed in a direction, and I'm hyper-focused.
All right.
But I won't interrupt you. You got this.
So, I love it. Yeah, I think everybody can see where we're going with this. The city folk were being corrupted. They were heathens. And the only cure was anglo-saxon square dancing and more
fiddling and more cowbell.
Definitely. It's fiddles and cowbells from here on out, boys.
Oh, no.
So this, the white man's music would cure the states of the foul influence of jazz. So, you know what? Sometimes I feel like I should script this because I get one-liners like that.
God, I knew that it was headed in this direction when you said jazz was a sexual way of dancing, because I was like, oh, Bible length apart? Yeah, that's some square dancing bullshit.
Mm-hmm. So how does a rich man in the 1920s, the late 20s, or the mid 20s, go about creating a nationwide change, a nationwide buzz of square dancing? Arguably some of the lamest music and dancing.
Not some of, it is the lamest music and dancing. My guess is that he reaches out to some pretty popular pop figures at the time. I'm gonna go as far to say that he involved Lucille Ball, maybe
in 1925.
Okay, maybe not. I didn't hear what year it was.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say that he starts reaching out to
none of them wanted
pop artists, and he gets in touch with someone in political, like a political figure.
You are wrong. He's smarter than that.
Really?
Like, if you involve, like, really pop stars and things like that, then you're only going to be getting, like, it'll be a phase. It'll just be there and then done quickly.
Okay.
The way you really change the world is you affect an entire generation.
You gotta get through to the youth.
So just start off. He basically Ford started small though. Come on, he knows how to spend his money. He formed an orchestra and basically paid for it to tour around the nation in 1925.
Yeah, starting small.
He
it's like when I got my first loan of $1 million.
Yeah, a very small
to start
loan.
the podcast.
Oh God, I wish.
I started too small with $1 million.
So yeah, he formed the orchestra. He started to pay dance instructors to go to community events and teach square dancing. Newspapers would start to just randomly, apparently, totally not paid off by Henry Ford, just like printing full pages of like instructionals on how to square dance.
Oh God!
And then he started targeting like schools who didn't have a lot of money and didn't have like music or dance programs, and said, "Hey, I'll just pay for like all of that. I'll just pay for that whole program, but you can only teach fiddle, cowbell, and square dancing. So a lot of schools jumped on it because they're like, oh, okay, why not? We're getting paid more.
I bet he didn't actually give them the cowbell, though. He's like, you need to bring your own from home.
Bring your own cowbell. He started to pay, like, as I was going to say, nation famous, because it's not worldwide. This dance is not worldwide.
Yeah.
So technically worldwide famous dance instructors to teach square dancing, to go to these different schools and teach them square dancing. So this became pretty quickly a nationwide thing. He ended up paying a small fortune for it. And I say small, but this is 1927. This is like Depression era. Like, it's a small fortune, but it's a lot of money. Do you have any
I
wasn't able to
square
track
dancing
down.
music?
No, thank Christ, no.
Oh,
I was going
good.
to.
I was like, just let me know before you play it so I can take out my headphones. PTSD and all.
Oh yeah, no, I get it. There will be a trigger warning first. He himself bought a $75,000 fiddle to play.
What?
That's in their time, from what I can find.
Good
That's in their
God.
money. So he could learn how to play fiddle.
Good Lord.
That shit was probably made with solid gold and made during the Mesopotamia era. For fuck's sake.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
It's just made out of fucking, like, Roman marble.
Yeah. It's made out of there's a little spot in the back of the statue of David that they carved it out of. That's why you never see the back.
Jesus.
He sponsored a bunch of radio shows. He paid for a bunch of fiddle players to go to their shows, and then he would, like, sponsor them. So if somebody was just playing fiddle locally, he would go into town and put an ad in the newspaper that said, Henry Ford loves this guy or is going to go to this show. And so it drew a bunch of people in to watch this awful fiddle show. Get this, he got 34 colleges to add an early American dancing curriculum.
Oh, my God.
34 colleges around the nation.
So I'm curious, why the fiddle?
That's just a big part of the music that you square dance to, of that kind of early country-esque music. So
I'm curious.
Fiddling is the most American music, and if you don't agree with that, then you can get out.
Written. I'm just trying to find out when Fiddler on the Roof was written.
I don't fucking know.
1905. Now, isn't this fucking... I thought Fiddler on the Roof was a large Jewish... Yeah, a poor Jewish milkman with 5 daughters explains the custom of the Jews in a Russian shtetl in Anteveka. But, so he's saying that the Jews started jazz music when really they have this, like, rich history around the fiddle.
Just wait. We're not going to talk about that right now.
Oh, okay? God. I'm so intrigued. I'm intrigued. I'm sorry.
Put it in the back of your mind.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, just hold on, because I love this. This story gets better. The longer this goes, it gets better.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. So he got colleges to pick up square dancing for their curriculum core.
He spent, the equivalent today of millions of dollars on this. And the fiddling craze ended up dying off around 1927 anyway. So it took 2 years and it died off.
It doesn't surprise me.
No shit. But
except for in, like, Mississippi.
Yeah. So Ford, of course, didn't stop there because it was probably the Jews who were keeping it out of the newspaper because they control the media. They found out
that the white man liked it, so they took it out of the media.
God, I hope nobody thinks we're serious. Like
we are not. This is
satire.
Wildly satirical. I don't support Henry Ford's ideas whatsoever.
A total sidetrack, but I came across a story of some people who made a podcast, and their biggest episode was one where they were kind of joking around about stuff like this, And a bunch of white supremacists thought that they were being serious.
Oh, so yeah, if you're a white supremacist, suck my dick.
And stop.
Don't enjoy this.
Yeah. All right.
Stop enjoying this.
Yeah, stop it. That didn't make him stop. Although it was no longer in the headlines, he continued to pay for dance instructions at schools for decades, and he would sponsor fiddle competitions at his dealerships.
It's almost like someone with fuck you amounts of money doesn't know the meaning of no.
No. Anybody with that amount of money must have good morals to get there. Everybody knows that.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Henry Ford, stop.
I love it. I love it. Every time I learn more and more about Henry Ford, it gets weird. It just gets weird.
Shit. He's such a fucking weird ass.
Like, on one side of it, he did quite a few good stuff for workers. He didn't support unions, which sucks, but he figured it was his responsibility to give his workers a good working environment, and if they wanted more money, they would go to him, not some union.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, but literally no other industrialist ever thought that way.
Fucking bring on the unions, baby. We need more unions.
Always. So, he continued to fund money into especially underfunded schools and stuff like that, which was good. They were, I'm okay with giving money to schools. It sucks that they also had to learn how to square dance. But this is like our generation's great-grandparents and grandparents would be going through these, school programs set up by Henry Ford.
Oh, okay. Jeez.
So in his magazine that I mentioned earlier, Ford wrote, and I quote, "If the conditions in America continue to develop along the same lines as in the last generation, if the immigration statistics and the same proportion of births among all the nationalities remain the same, our imagination may picture the United States of America 50 or 100 years hence as a land inhabited only by slaves, Negroes, and Jews.
Oh, God.
Wherein the Jew will naturally occupy the position of economic leadership."
I hate him.
Which you do hear shit like that from white supremacists. "Oh, we want to preserve our race. We're going to go extinct if we all mix our races together." Fucking assholes.
It's like, get over yourself. God forbid.
Nobody wants your genes.
Racial integration is good.
Yeah. Weird.
It doesn't
almost
take
like our species evolves or
it doesn't
evolves.
Take a smooth brain to figure that one out.
So I got another quote here, which was just fantastic. "It is the purpose of which this article to put people in possession of the truth concerning the moron music which they habitually hum and sing and shout day and night.
Oh, God.
And if possible, to help them see the invisible Jewish baton which is waved above them for financial propaganda purposes."
Was Henry Ford alive when Elvis was around? Because I feel like he would have hated him.
I'm sure he would have. I think he was. He was, because Elvis was in World War II. If the only way I know celebrities, including extremely famous ones, is if they were involved in World War II. Oh, no.
Jesus. Oh, God.
Oh, let's see. Where was I?
I'm surprised. So, sorry to interrupt. In 2016, Beatles Magic filled the Henry Ford exhibit, which surprises me that they would allow such heinous and sex-making music in the Henry Ford exhibit.
Oh, he's rolling over in his grave.
The dirty old bastard.
All right, so just as the American stage and motion picture have fallen under the control of Jews...
Oh, God.
...and their art-destroying commercialism...
Those fucking Weinsteins.
Well, my favorite thing is that he's saying that their art-destroying commercialism... It's industrialists who did all that shit.
I was going to say, I thought that
monetized everything.
Yeah, I thought that this free market was made so that anybody could really get into it, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Am I
mistaken here?
You are. So the business of handling popular songs has become a Yiddish industry. The Jews who capture it in the early days of exploration were for the most part Russian-born Jews, some of whom had personal pasts which were unsavory, as the past of many Jewish theatrical and movie leaders have been exposed to be. Basically, if you were Jewish and you were making movies, you had an unsavory past to this dude.
Yeah, which is intriguing coming from someone with an unsavory present.
Yeah. But I love these, and I've got a couple. I think I've got one more little quote, but before I share it, there was like a court case about this newspaper that came out during the time where it was basically it was libel or slander because it was so anti-Semitic.
Oh,
and the way they got around it in court is the defense was, oh well, Henry Ford owns it and. Earlier, he said that he reviews it, but he doesn't really review it. It's just the guy who bought it was basically running it, and they basically blamed it on him, and they said, oh, he was just pushing these through, and Henry Ford didn't know anything about it. But then after the court case, which it wasn't able to be proven that Henry Ford knew about these, they kept that dude on. They didn't fire him. So
oh my God.
That kind of says a lot, I think.
Jesus.
About, Henry Ford knew all this shit. This was either him writing it, and in fact there was some I should have dug deeper into this, but there was some evidence that the writing in a lot of the articles are very similar to the way Henry Ford writes or wrote at the time.
Intriguing.
Yeah. So
I suspect something is amiss.
Weird. All right, so here you go. This one's a little bit goes into his temperance kind of thing, and I'm just reading these off because it gives you a good idea of what was in these magazines that he was producing. Like, what a dick. The people are what they made. Give the liquor business full sway, and you have a population that drinks and carouses. The population could be turned into drug addicts if the same freedom was given to the illicit narcotic ring as is now given to the Yiddish popular song manufacturers. In such a condition, it would be stupid to attack the addicts. Common sense would argue the exposure of the panderers. A dreadful narcoticizing of moral modesty and the application of powerful aphrodisiacs have been involved in the present craze for crooning songs. A stimulated craze. The victims are everywhere, but too few of the opponents of this moral poison see the futility of scolding the young people thus diseased. Common sense dictates a cleaning out and a clearing out of the sources of the disease. The source is in the Yiddish group of song manufacturers who control the whole output and who are responsible for the whole matter, from poetry to profits.
Jesus.
So, yeah, he really thought that all the music production was controlled by Jewish people and that they were all working together.
Oh, that sounds like the Henry Ford Manifesto.
I'm putting something together. Don't worry. It also sounds like Utah.
Back to your graham crackers and square dancing, kiddos. No boners
cracker,
in this
but no
part
sugar.
of the world.
Sugar-free graham crackers.
No erections in this hemisphere.
No, never.
Jesus.
Yeah, I love it because that's how Utah views booze.
That's how Utah views anything.
Yeah, that's actually true. Utah is just a metaphor for Henry Ford.
Utah is Henry Ford's wet dream of a state.
Oh yeah, except we have too many STDs.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah. So
too many STDs and teen pregnancies.
Yep. Fantastic publication. I've now made it my life goal to collect one original copy of every issue.
Jesus Christ!
Because this is what you get when you get a racist temperance advocate and give them a platform. So this is essentially the parlor of the 1920s and 30s. No?
Oh no! It definitely is. It is 100% the 1920s parlor.
Yeah. And I'm sure anybody wanted to put an article in there about how the Jews are fine, it would get censored. My freedoms!
God.
So, in fact, I stumbled across some information that, to me, links that a lot of the conspiracy theories that we see today spouted off by the alt-right were originally spouted off by Henry Ford, whether he invented them or he popularized them. Bigger thing that
they were all originally in Henry Ford's diary.
Yeah, before he published the Protocols of the Elder Design before he was born. Yeah. I believe it.
Oh no.
Yeah, so like I even have some specific ones. There's an alt-right theory that male immigrants specifically will hunt down and rape white women more than anyone else, and that immigration brings crime. All of that's been disproven. Like 100%, that has been disproven. But it is still an issue. Even in Europe, there's like one town in Sweden that the alt-right, the right-wing media, talks about all the time, how they have the biggest crime rate in the world, or something like that, in the developed world, or in Sweden, or something like that, and that it's because they have a loose immigration policy.
Oh God!
When in reality, they do have the highest crime rate because they have like 12 people there. It's a lower population area, and they're not violent crimes. It's not caused by immigration. It's just like a population density thing.
It's just a population density issue. Jesus.
So that's one of them that you'll hear. And a big thing is he didn't necessarily invent all of these. But because he had a platform, he was, super wealthy, he was public, and he had a platform to speak on. Because of that, he was able to popularize a lot of these racist shit. A lot of this racist conspiracies. Another one was he had a big hand in creating the theory that black people only vote democratically to expand the welfare benefits. I didn't even know that was a thing that people, I don't know if they actually believe it, but I wouldn't be surprised.
It would not surprise me if people actually believed
But,
that.
how fucking ridiculous is that?
Jesus Christ. If you think that, stop listening.
You don't deserve the laugh.
Have
Give
anything to do with us. Yeah. Leave us alone. Don't be fans. God, fuck you.
The influence that Ford created lasted well past his death. He ended up, here it is. I know I put down when he died. He died in 1947. But all this shit that he did, of course, went well past that. Nowadays, still, we have his effect on the alt-right with those anti-Jewish, anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. We're still feeling the repercussions from World War II, from, all that bullshit. And in the 60s, there was a push to make square dancing the national dance. A bunch of states made it their official state dance. Ronald Reagan, a show favorite, spoke about making square dancing a national dance, probably in between lying to the U.S. people and then admitting lying to the U.S. people, but then saying he didn't really believe it.
Oh, God.
So then, so 28 states have so far made it their official dance.
Gross.
And while doing
it's such a bad fucking dance.
Yeah, if you don't know what square dancing is, please just Google it, YouTube it.
Yeah, you're not going to be entertained. Well, you'll be entertained because it looks dumb as fuck, but it's not something that you're going to. Yeah, you're not going to look at it and go, I want to learn that.
Yeah, I want to listen to this music in my headphones. So,
oh God,
one awful part of this, of those 27 states that I didn't even think about, and I was lucky enough to stumble across this idea, was that while making square dancing the official dance of 27 states, they erased hundreds of real traditional dance styles of the indigenous people who lived in those states before they were states.
Oh, God.
And even just like early American dancing, or say, dances that large groups of immigrants brought over, or there's so many different dances that could be more local, more meaningful, and more traditional that are now just nope, square dancing. Square dancing's better than your Navajo fucking hunting dance.
Oh God, it's like they're saying, dancing to Boots, Scoot, and Boogie is way better than dancing to your fucking, like,
the Buffalo
your
dance
culture
or
song.
your actual cultural dance and music. So,
oh Lord,
yeah. So there's Henry Ford, and that's why square dancing exists. Essentially, I'm sure it would have been mostly thrown away. That's why you can go to fucking square dancing bars where you have to dance in line. Line dancing and shit like that.
I hate them all.
Oh, it's awful.
Country music could suck my ass.
So I gotta say, this topic was fucking perfect for our show.
Yeah.
Racism, antisemitism, large events in history, Reagan, Hitler, and
white
Ford
people
all
dancing.
in one show. And white people dancing.
God. Fuck.
So, in a way, you were right at the beginning. Like, you gotta fight back against the... fight back against jazz with square dancing.
Oh, no. Oh, fucking hell. What a mess.
It's fantastic. And I have a little postscript that I typed in here after I was done with the research.
Okay. What is it? Hit me with it.
Square dancing was invented by slaves. And during the time that square dancing started to become, more and more known, white people thought it was so vulgar of a dance because they had to call back and forth to each other, and the entire invention of square dancing was because they didn't need an instructor. You would square dance with your partner, and the calling back and forth makes it so that you don't need an instructor. So the fact that Henry Ford had to bring out a bunch of instructors to teach a dance like that is stupid. But yeah, it was literally created by the slaves in the South.
Really?
Yeah, and so in an attempt to cure the United States of an alleged plague of immoral music, Ford reenacted the same trope used by white supremacists throughout world history, selling a vision of a racially homogenous future using a fable about an America that never existed.
Jesus.
It's basically the Make America Great Again slogan, like...
of dancing.
When were we great? Like, this never existed, and now we're trying to sell this, America's great. Let's do that again. And that's the exact same trope that every white supremacist uses.
Please, nobody bring back swing dancing.
Please.
We don't want it.
Please.
We don't fucking want it.
But isn't that interesting? That turns out there's a pattern of white supremacists.
Oh, God. None of it surprises me. Everything comes back to white supremacy, AJ. Everything.
So, the next time you hear a fiddle or see some square dancing, remember, you are only being exposed to it because some asshat in the 1920s hated Jewish, black, and indigenous people so much that he indoctrinated an entire generation to think that country music is good.
Oh,
that's the takeaway. That is my takeaway.
Nothing fits my personal beliefs, other than saying country music is white supremacy. I like it. I'm going to get that tattooed across my shoulders.
Let's get matching tattoos.
Country music is white supremacy.
It is.
Oh God. It's just a bunch of rich assholes pandering to an unintelligent listener base.
Oh God, is that us? No, we're not rich. No.
Yeah, this is true. Oh God, man, what a fucking mess! I love it.
Oh, it's so good.
These are the episodes that really, really touch my heart and change my life in ways I would have never understood were possible.
Love it. I love it when this shit happens. When you just stumble across such a weird story that has, this is a direct evidence of the butterfly effect. How this one dude in the 20s,
one rich dick,
just spread his ideology so strong into this generation that it just continued, and it continues to this day.
It'll be interesting to see what Mr. Bezos has done in 30 years.
Yeah, what school programs is he
God.
sponsoring that we don't know about yet?
The anti-union classes in elementary school.
Oh, I'm sure about that.
God.
That one just makes sense.
They teach it in math. They're like, well, they need their portion, and that's why this is bad. Because that means that you might be standing up for yourself.
One worker plus one union equals 75% of one worker's work. Wait.
Oh God, if you have the opportunity to join a union, though you will be losing a little bit of amount of money per paycheck, it is worth it.
They'll fight for higher wages industry-wide. You'll probably end up getting paid more.
You'll end up getting paid more.
Better protections.
It is. Don't believe the anti-union shit.
Oh, and
there's a reason why they have unions in other countries, and it's so wildly successful.
If somebody tells you you're not allowed to talk about your pay, fuck them. You are allowed to talk about your pay. There's no law.
You are very
You
welcome
are
to.
legally allowed to talk about your pay with other people. And in fact, you should, because if you find a wide disparity between your pay and somebody else's, you can go in and negotiate and say, hey, I work here as long as this person gets paid this much more than me. Let's talk about it. Let's negotiate. Because if you don't, that is literally why the pay gap exists still.
Yep, 100%.
Because people don't talk about their pay.
Know your workers' rights.
Oh, yeah. Don't get bullied. It's scary. Stand up for yourself and your fellow workers and eat the rich. The bourgeoisie has it coming.
And follow us on Instagram
and Twitter.
At Points O Pressure.
We should do
now,
the
while
outro,
this plays, during the outro, I'm going to read our Patreon, our patrons, if I can find them.
Do you not have it up all the time?
I have it pulled up now.
Okay.
Thank you to D's Nuts, who is not me. Nordic Thunder.
It really isn't him, though.
Toddle Waddle. Dark Runner. Haley. And Casey McFacey. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And if you want to be added to this list, follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Go to the links in our bios and subscribe for exclusive content that we never put out. Join us, PP Team, and aid us in our victory.
What should we should have a name for our followers. Every YouTube has a name for the
followers.
I don't
know, yeah.
PP-ers? Hey, all the PP-ers. If anybody has any ideas for what we should call
yeah. If you've got ideas,
fans,
reach out.
Please send it to us.
Well, that's all I've got.
That's all I got.
Catch us next Monday for more quality fucking content.
This was great.
Be safe and stay out of trouble, suckers.